When I started my PhD back in 2013, there was a little bit of interest in native plant gardening, but it was really just kind of siloed in these like extra specialized organizations. And actually, before I started my PhD, my other collaborator was like, you gotta meet this guy, Doug. I think you guys would work together really well. And I was like, who's Doug? Like, who's Doug Tallamy?
Doug was one of the early people across the nation that figured out that there was a real connection between native plants and insects and birds. We all knew that intuitively. Doug was able to document that, and then he shared that in a way that went beyond just publishing peer-reviewed articles.
Yeah, Doug Tallamy is a leader in discussing native plants, based at the University of Delaware, entomologist. He's a friend of mine, professor of mine, just a wonderful human being.
When Doug started, he was a behavioral ecologist and asked all these like esoteric questions about evolution and things like that. And as he went further in being a scientist and being an entomologist, he sort of realized, you know, how we're affecting the world and seeing declines and seeing like the degradation and the changes that are happening over his lifetime. And while, you know, some scientists might go down the doom and gloom pathway, he actually went in the opposite direction and started thinking about what we can do and using the observations that he was making in his own yard to sort of lead the trajectory of the rest of his science.
One thing that Doug has done that is really unique for most scientists is to speak to people in a way that they both understand and connect with. Doug is a prolific author with a popular audience. He's even adapted one of his books for children.
Doug has done a lot of wonderful books. They've all had their unique focus and different content. And then when The Living Landscape came out, that book is still selling really well. I can't believe it because it's a 2014 book. That's the first time that I ever actually, from the outset, did a co-written book. We really wanted to do a book that was authentic, that we knew every photograph that was in there. We knew the background on it, so we're not making up anything. The combination of the two of us together was the ideal situation where we could have all these concepts and that we could show people what these landscapes we're talking about could look like.
When Doug gives talks, he likes to give people like really concrete examples and anecdotes of ways that they can make a difference. And for many, many years, he talked about how our yards are small, but in aggregate, they can cover this huge area more than all the national parks in the United States. It was just kind of like a quip that he said.
When my husband and I left New York City and moved to Connecticut, our neighbors advised us that we had a neglected garden. They encouraged me to go to a talk where this man was speaking named Doug Tallamy. He started to talk about the loss of biodiversity to overdevelopment and loss of habitat. And I was thinking at the time that I would just get up and leave because I didn't want another bad human moment. But before I could even think of doing that, he said, and there's such a simple solution. And that was the beginning of my realization that you don't have to be a gardener for a living or even a hobby to be part of the solution by planting native and removing invasive plants.
People heard that message and felt really inspired and felt really like there's a movement here, but we don't really know how many people are a part of this movement. And so they started this nonprofit named Homegrown National Park.
Homegrown National Park was really a term coined by him at least 25 years ago. We launched our website in 2020. So what we are is a movement to get people aware of the biodiversity crisis and then to commit to being part of the solution. We have this interactive map where you can put your intention or your plantings or what you already have planted. And this is for everyone to do, whether you're a business, an individual, a conservation nonprofit with a lot of members. The Homegrown National Park Biodiversity Map shows that individually we're making an impact and collectively we're solving the biodiversity crisis.
Doug's influence is a huge part for the reason that I am the scientist that I am today, and I'm just really grateful that I've had the opportunity for my life to intersect with his.
The opportunity to have gotten to know Doug and to have worked meaningfully with him and to produce that book and lecture together, it's been one of life's great joys, no question about it.
There's not many people like Doug around. He's making a bigger difference than any other academic I know in regards to supporting and promoting native plants.